Hello everyone, and I'm back with another Answer Your Questions video. Some time ago I was asked about if I was starting to shoot practical shotgun now, what I would be focusing on in terms of skills or training, what I would be focusing on first. So that's an interesting topic because if you're starting shotgun now, I think the main concern that you need to have is actually safety. So you need to be aware of safety. Nobody wants to be disqualified. Fortunately, I've never experienced that, but it can happen to anyone, to the most of the beginners or to the most experienced shooters. So it can happen to everyone. But if you are aware, if you know how to properly move and behave in the shooting range in terms of safety, that should be your main concern, because you don't want to be disqualified, but most importantly, you want to be safe on the range. You don't want to have any accident either on training or competition. Okay, so that's the main concern at first. Then, in terms of shooting skills, I think the first thing that you should be considering is actually your shooting stance. So you need to know how to position yourself, your shooting position for practical shooting, because it's different from any other shooting sports. You're not doing precision shooting, you're not doing play target shooting. It's completely different. Even from handgun, it's completely different. So I think that you should be learning how to properly position and to have a good shooting stance, and the way you mount the gun on your shoulder, the way you mount your face on the gun, how you control the gun under recoil. That should be, in my opinion, the first thing that I would be focusing on, and that you should be focusing on first. And then after you learn how to do it, you need to advance to reloads. So, and if you see, that's actually the sequence that I have on my practical shotgun course and the practical shotgun course series that I have here on YouTube. So if you see, I start out with a shooting stance, shooting position, and recoil management, and then I also have there the topic of target transitions. However, I don't think that should be super important point right from the start, because I think it is a consequence of the shooting position and the recoil management. However, there's techniques, and that's why I put on that topic too. There's techniques to improve the target transition, and it is very important, target transition too. But after doing that, I think you should go to reloads. So reloads, in my opinion, is probably the most, or one of the most important skills to master in this discipline. If you're not doing, for example, quad loads, if you're not doing quad loads and you're doing twin loads, you will lose a lot of time compared to your competition. Uh, quad loads are the way to go, but not only quad loads. You need to know how to do quad loads properly and fast, and most importantly, you need to know how to do quad loads consistent. And you don't want to be always doing super fast reloads on training at home. Yeah, maybe, but on the range, on match, no. You need to, mostly you'll be reloading on the move. So you need to adequate your speed to your movement, and that's a skill that you need to learn and you need to practice a lot. You can either do it on dry fire, but you can also do it on live fire, and you should be doing it on both occasions too. So reloads, and I think it is also very important to learn how to do reloads on different techniques, not only in strong hand or only weekend reload. You should be doing reloads and knowing how to do it on both techniques. So you have one main technique that you do. Of course, for me, for example, is strong hand, but I know how to do weekend properly, and I know I still train that regularly. Okay, because there will come a time that you'll be needing it, and it's better to know how to do it than not know how to do it. So reloads, and especially options restarts, for example, it's another thing that you should be training a lot, and I do it pretty much every dry fire training. Then I would move to movement. I would go up to movement. Movement after reloading, if you know to proper position and have a proper stance and recoil management, then you know how to reload. Then you should go and learn proper movement on the stage. Movement will also save you a lot of time. If you learn how to properly move on the range, on the stage, you will be, especially with the exit and entries of positions, you will be gaining, with the anticipation of the gun, you'll be gaining a lot of time. And it is, I would say, a differentiating point when it comes to a certain level of shooters. It's like the next step. If you know how to move, if you know how to shoot well and reload well, you will already be positioning yourself on the grid with a good score. But if you know how to move, it's a big step forward. Okay, so I would consider that, and you can also do it either on dry fire, but most importantly, you're going to be doing it on live fire. Because, for example, the entry of the shooting position, of a new shooting position, you need to anticipate the gun and start shooting as soon as you can, but with proper accuracy. So that you can also, of course, you can train it on dry fire, but you will be confirming it on the live fire portion. So I think that you should be doing a lot on the live fire. And then comes, I would say, shooting on the move. So if you know how to do all that, then you learn how to shoot on the move. Shoot on the move will be the next step forward. You don't want to, and I have proof of that here on my YouTube channel, you don't want to be shooting standing and then moving, and shooting standing and then moving. That will also, you'll lose a lot of time with that. So if you shoot on the move, you're combining two different actions in the same time. Okay, if you do it separately, you're doing different times. So you'll increase time no matter what. Okay, no matter if you're shooting super fast and then you move, you'll be almost 100% of the time you'll be losing time. You'll be slower with the stop and shoot technique. Okay, and last but not least, I think that you should be considering stage planning. Stage planning is definitely something that will allow you to show all the other techniques that you learn in a good manner. However, you need to, stage planning is not, I wouldn't say it's for beginners, from the very beginners, because most of the times it's very confusing. There's a lot of things to consider. So most of the time in the beginning, I think you should be either copying some of the more experienced shooters' plans, or learning it slowly. Okay, learning it slowly. And if you can have some help, like a shooting course, for example, like I did, that would be very beneficial. Okay, so this stage planning will allow you to sharpen the edges. It will allow you to make the best plan. It will allow you to have a different vision of the stage. And there's techniques, that not techniques, I would say there's guides that you can have. There's like a thinking process that you should have when you're stage planning, either on the walkthrough or the previous planning. So I think that should come last, but it's not to disconsider. Okay, you need to do it at some point. You need to be needing to learn that and improve on that. So I think that's it. If I was starting now, and honestly, when I started, I didn't entirely start with this sequence, but if I was going to do it now, I would start with this sequence. Okay, and it will come to a point you will be mixing all of this. Okay, but if in the very beginning, I believe that you should isolate some movements, you should isolate some trainings in the very beginning, and then you start to mixing it all up. So it was it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any other questions that you would like me to address on this kind of videos, leave them in the comments, and I'll bring them in the next one. Bye bye.